Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel.
Oh, we are so excited because today we have some information for you. We are going to share some tips on how to rent a car in Spain.
Now, we've rented cars in Spain for years and have driven through this country from Barcelona and San Sebastian in the north to the border of Gibraltar in the south.
Yeah, we have been everywhere driving in Spain. We love driving in Spain.
We do.
It's so beautiful. Now, we've made a lot of mistakes in the past. A lot, actually.
Yes.
And we've even received this killer bill from a rental company once when we got home. A few months later, we saw $500 that we owed. Yikes! Now, on our most recent trip to Spain, we rented a car and we made sure not to make the same mistake twice. And we thought, I think this would be good to share with people. So we're going to talk to you about that today.
Yeah, today we're going to give you some valuable tips on how to rent a car in Spain without the surprise bill.
Okay, first up is car insurance. Do you get it or not? That's the question that we are asked, and how do you go about it? You know, this is the one I always do the most research on whenever I'm going to a new country because I think it is the most important. But why don't you take this one, Dave? You're good at going into all those little nitty-gritty details.
All right, I think I will then. Should you get car rental insurance? This is a question we get a lot, and obviously the answer is yes, but a lot of people think that you can just use, that credit card that you got and says you're covered for car rentals and you're completely covered. Well, our advice is to make sure that you check with your credit card company and your home auto insurance to see what exactly they cover before you go, because usually credit cards will cover collision. A collision damage waiver is what is covered with most credit cards. And it does vary between Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. So you want to find out what are the details are for your particular card. Now, the collision damage, what it does is if you do damage to the car, you get in an accident, it does cover the car. But what it doesn't cover is people or liability insurance. Luckily, in Spain, it is law that they have to provide third-party liability insurance, and this is worked into the cost of the car. So, luckily, you don't really have to worry too much about that because it is mandatory. Now, we use the American Express Platinum card, and it has excellent coverage. However, what you need to remember, regardless of what credit card you're using, is that when you do book it via the credit card, is that the car rental agreement must be in the name of the principal card holder. That is the way that the insurance is actually going to cover you. If it's somebody else who's driving the car, then chances are you could get in an accident and it will not be covered. So make sure that it is in your name if you're the one who has the credit card. Now, if you happen to get into an accident, this is a disadvantage of using credit card insurance. They will take a huge deposit when you actually get the car rental, and then what will happen is they'll take that full deposit off regardless of what the damage is, and you'll have to work to get that back later on. Also, it's quite high if you don't use their own insurance. So the deposit could be, say, 5,000 euros. If that is the limit on your credit card, then you probably won't be able to use that credit card for the rest of the trip because they'll have that hold on it. So those are just a few different things that you want to take into consideration when you're thinking about using your credit card's insurance to rent a car. If it's not too expensive, we like to purchase the full coverage from the rental company. However, during the last visit to Spain, they wanted to charge us 25 euro a day, which ended up being more than the actual cost of the car rental itself. So we decided not to actually go that way. What we decided to do is purchase it through rentalcars.com, which is associated with booking.com. We booked our rental through there and they offered a full coverage insurance for it was a fraction of the cost of what we were going to get it. We actually have links to both rentalcars.com and booking.com in the links below, and that's who we always book our car rentals through. So you can check those out. And if you're looking for more information about the car rental process and more tips and tricks, make sure to check out our blog. We have a whole post dedicated to it, and that is in a link below as well in the description.
Okay, so let's talk about the car inspection. I think this is the most important aspect of renting a car because you want to make sure that the car is in the condition that you got it and you're going to leave it in the exact same condition. Renting a car in Spain is very different from renting a car in North America. In Canada and the United States, whenever we rent a car, we have someone come out beforehand and do a walkthrough with us, going through all of the scratches and little problems that are in with the car. When we rent a car in Spain, you'll be surprised that they just give you the keys and then they give you a piece of paper with all of the list of scratches and problems on the car. And sometimes there are a lot of them. We never take their word for it. We walk out with the paper and then we make sure to, first of all, double check all of the scratches that are on the paper and then look to see if there are more. But on top of that, we take photos of the car. And we not only take photos, we take video, because I find photos you can miss some things. If you video the entire car very slowly, you will have a timestamp of everything that's wrong with the car right there at your fingertips. Now, when you're inspecting the car, I'm talking check everything, because they will make you pay if there's something wrong with the trunk, if there's something underneath the car, if there's a scratch in the rear view mirror. Just look at everything. Take video of inside and outside of the car and you will be good to go. Okay, so now the fun begins. You are in your car and you are driving. So what is it like driving in Spain? Well, first of all, let's talk about what size of car you should rent. Now, obviously, the smaller cars will be cheaper not only to rent, but they'll also be a lot less on gas. You will be surprised at the prices of gas in Europe. It's much more expensive than the States, and yes, even more than Canada.
Wow, really?
But we don't only rent small cars for the gas savings. We also find that when we're in places like Portugal, we want to have a small car so that we can park easily. We can squeeze ourselves when we're in a little Fiat 500 into anything. And when you're going on those narrow, winding roads along the coast, I find that those small cars are very zippy and easy to get around in. But just make sure that your luggage fits. You want to make sure that you have a car that your luggage will fit in. You don't want it all cramped up, stacked up to the roof.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't drive stick, then you need to make sure that you book months in advance, because automatic cars really sell out quickly. And it will save you money if you drive stick as well, because the most affordable option in Spain is to rent a standard transmission. Plus, I love driving stick. It's just way more fun.
Yeah, if Dave had it his way, we'd still be driving the stick at home.
That's true.
Yeah. And hey, everyone, for our North American friends, the good news is that they do drive on the right-hand side in Spain. So you're not going to have to worry about having to drive like you would if you were going to the UK or Australia or somewhere like that.
It is a little note, though, if you do go into Gibraltar and you do drive there, it does switch the drive on the other side of the road. So remember that if you decide to cross over into Gibraltar. Now, when driving on the highway, here's another little tip for you. Keep an eye out for speed. Speeds are usually 120 kilometers an hour, but they can, on the highway, but they can change them quickly. I have seen speeds go down from like 90 to 50, and you don't even know. Like it's crazy. And there's photo radar there as well. So don't do what we did and get a ticket in the mail for a speeding ticket and think that it was fake and not pay it. Better yet, just stick to the speed limit and you'll be fine.
Yeah, remember when we told you about that $500 bill that we got? Well, I think that's what it must have been. We honestly don't have a clue what we got charged for, but we got a letter in the mail when we got home about 4 or 5 months later, and it said that we owe $250 or somewhere around that, the equivalent of that, for an infraction in Spain. We were like, we didn't do anything wrong. We followed all of the rules and we ignored it. I'm not joking, we ignored it. Well, a few months later,
it was $500.
Yeah, we had a collection agency come after us and say, you owe $500. And we were like, no, I think this is a scam. And they went, nope, you have already been charged and convicted and the bill went out and now you owe us interest. So the moral of the story is really pay attention to those real big changes on the highway. You think you're gonna be okay, you're like, well, it was only a couple hundred meters, I think I'll be fine, that it went down to 50 for a short time. Nope, there is photo radar everywhere and we have paid the price. Anything to add to that, Dave?
No, you're right. We've definitely paid the price. So we make sure to stick to the speed limit even when the locals are zooming past us.
The great thing about Europe, though, is that on your GPS, the speed limits come up.
Yeah.
We follow that. And a lot of the cars have the speed limit on it, too. It's already rebuilt in, so I just follow. I'm like, I have no idea what the speed limit is. And Dave will be yelling at me, just look at the speedometer. It'll say it right there. So you can find all of that. So follow that.
Let's talk a little bit about tolls, because there's a lot of toll roads in all over Europe, but in Spain there are toll roads and usually marked with an AP, which means autopiste. So you know that those are the toll roads in Spain.
Wow, you're so bilingual.
Oh, that's not too bad, eh? That's my best Spanish accent there. The good thing in Spain, though, is that you can pay by credit card. You don't need to get a transponder or anything like that. You can literally just drive up and tap or pay cash if you like. Just be aware and know when you're on toll roads. And the good thing is there's not a whole ton of toll roads in Spain either. If you travel to Portugal, that would be completely different because there's a lot of toll roads there and the whole system is completely different in Portugal for tolls than it is in Spain. So if you do plan on crossing the borders, because you can, if you rent a car, actually cross into France or cross into Portugal without any penalty with most car rental agencies. Always double check the fine print because, you know, the cheaper the agency or the less known agency, they tend to add a charge for this. So if you're wondering or if you're planning on crossing the borders, be aware of the tolls, but also be aware if there are any charges that will be attributed to you if you actually cross the border itself.
You forgot to mention Gibraltar. You can cross into Gibraltar as well, and that's where you'll be driving on the other side of the road.
Yes, that's true. So be careful of that. All right.
And if you do plan to go into Portugal, a lot of people combine Portugal and Spain trips together. I would suggest getting the transponder for the Portuguese toll roads. Because in Portugal, it's very confusing. You do not know when you're on a toll road, and you could get a huge bill when you get back on your credit card for all these tolls that you didn't even know you had.
That's true. Actually, the plazas are different. So like you have plazas in Spain, so you know exactly where the toll road is. A lot of times in Portugal, if you cross over there, it's just a camera that will literally take your picture and send you a bill, or you'll get a bill from the rental car company along with an additional processing fee.
Yeah, the transponder fee. So just pay for the transponder and then everything is good to go.
Whew, that was a lot, right?
I'm sweating. From all of that.
Put you through your paces.
I had to think too hard.
All right, well, let's actually take a moment to recap the key points that we've covered today. Insurance, car inspection, driving in Spain, and toll passes.
Yep, from navigating insurance options to ensuring a thorough car inspection and tackling those tricky borders and toll roads, we've shared insights to help you make your car rental experience in Spain smoother and free of those surprise bills. We've done all the mistakes for you, so you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, if you're hungry for more information, our blog is the place to find the best information. Check out the link right here, somewhere up here, yeah, and the link in the description below for a more detailed guide of rental car tips in Spain, including important stops, what to do when you return the car, and anything else that's associated with renting a car in Spain that we haven't covered here.
Yeah, we go into really a deep dive into car rentals in Spain. And don't forget to like and hit that button if you found this video helpful. And please subscribe to our channel for more travel tips and great stories from around the globe.
Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy travels!